You know what no one really tells you? No one tells you the deepest bond you would ever create with your man has almost nothing to do with the sheets themselves. It starts in the space between two breaths, the moment before the touch, the way your energy says, I see you. That's the place where real intimacy is born. And that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Jane Lawrence. For all of you newbies, welcome to my channel, and I'm your love doctor. Now, creating deep bond with your man is not about working on a space that you both are in. It's not about even fixing the light to create that mood, that ambience. It's not even about the act of love making, because men can make love to you and still not have a deep bond with you afterwards. It's basically about what happens before all of that. It's about the quiet little pause, that breath that you both share. It's the way his eyes softens, when he looks at you like he's home. That's where the bond begins. Listen, because real intimacy, it's not about performance. It's an energy. That's what we're not getting. It's in the laughter that breaks the silence. It's the tiny sighs that says, I trust you, I see you, you're my person. It's in the way your breath answers his without either of you planning it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's where the connection starts. In the pause before the touch, in the unspoken rhythm of comfort that you both find within yourselves. If you've not had that in the space of time that you both are together, then your bond is not as deep. And listen, this is something women like us forget sometimes. We forget that we carry that power to create that bond with that man. The kind of power that Cleopatra used when she looked at Mark Antony and made him forget empires. She didn't need spells, darling. She used presence. That still magnetic awareness that says, I see you completely. And that's what turns closeness into devotion. Now, if you've ever read their story, you would know that Cleopatra wasn't just beautiful. She was intentional about her man, about everything that she did. When she was with Anthony, she made him feel seen. And that's what men want. They want to feel seen by you. That's what you've got to bring into your love life, into your relationship, where your man knows that you see every tiny little details that he puts into the relationship. When men are acknowledged for the tiniest little things that they do, they feel seen, and it blows their minds. Because that's really the things that women nowadays, modern women nowadays do. We're very superficial. We're all about what we can get, what we can get. And I'm not saying that there are no selfish men out there where no matter what you do to them, no matter what you give to them, they still will not give you anything. And then you have to assert yourself time and time again. Right? I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking a man who also is intentional and he's trying his best to make sure that he makes you happy, and you see what he does. You see his effort. You're not belittling the tiniest thing that he has done. You're making it look as if he has done the greatest thing that anyone has ever done for you. That alone will blow his mind and will create a bond that no other woman can give to him. Because it seems nowadays it is rare to acknowledge the tiny things that people do for people. So Cleopatra was very intentional about everything that she did with her men. And you can do that by slowing down, by letting your eyes speak first. You know, the eyes is a window to the soul. So if you're not appreciative, it will tell in your eyes. If you are appreciative and filled with gratitude, it will show in the eyes. And men don't miss those things in the eyes. Men don't miss those signs in the eyes. That's why when a man is talking to you or when a man gives you something, he looks at your eyes. Not necessarily your action, your eyes. Does it show gratitude? Does it show love? Does it show appreciation for what he's done? So let your eyes speak first. Let your energy walk into the room before your words do. Because when your man feels that calm confidence, that soft but firm kind of presence that only you can bring when you walk into a room, you become so unforgettable. Because, babe, listen, the truth is, people don't fall for perfection. They fall for presence. What kind of presence do you hold? Do you know what emotional intimacy really is? I don't think a lot of us know. It is a warmth that lingers when the talking stops. Like that warmth. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to force a conversation. But the silence is just warm. It's peaceful. You are at home. That's true intimacy. If you're always needing to find something to talk because silence feels awkward, then the bond is not good enough. It's not deep enough. It's not safe enough. So intimacy is the laughing in the middle of serious moments because that's you. It's being comfortable enough to say what's on your mind, what's on your heart, not what you think he wants to hear. Because that's what makes a man's soul relax around you. He doesn't need to perform. He doesn't need another performance from you. He needs peace, where he can be himself in the silence. Look at Heloise and Abelard. Their love was forbidden, yet their words still echoed through centuries. Why? Because their connection wasn't built on what they could do together. It was built on what they could share. They saw each other's minds first. And when you love someone's mind, every other kind of closeness becomes a conversation, not necessarily through words. So how do you bring that into your own relationship? You bring that by being curious again. Ask questions that touch the heart, not just the surface. Be deep. Don't be superficial. Don't be afraid to tell him about your dreams, your fears, your silly thoughts at 2 a.m. in the morning, because that kind of honesty builds trust, and trust builds heat. Now let's talk about rhythm, the unseen rhythm between two people. Every relationship should have one. If you don't have one, then that's not a relationship for you. And rhythm is in the way that you greet each other after a long day, the tone of your voice. It's the way your energies are in sync. And if you listen closely enough, you can hear it. You can hear the rhythm of your relationship. When you're emotionally connected, when you're having sex, your rhythm just aligns without effort. It's like a motion of the ocean. You're making love and your bodies are in sync. You don't miss a beat. That's what makes those quiet moments feel electric, even when no one says a word. You see, emotional intimacy isn't loud. It is felt. It's a slow burn that deepens over time. And baby, that's the kind of fire that doesn't fade. That's the kind of fire that even when there is distance between both of you, there is this unseen thread that connects you and him, that causes a tethering. That's what causes soul ties. Let's take, for instance, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. Their love was complicated. It was fiery. It was imperfect, yet magnetic. Now, Frida Kahlo was a painter, with flowers in her hair. And Diego Rivera was, a muralist, twice the size, but equal in spirit. They created, they argued, they forgave, they painted their way through love. Frida said once, "I love you more than my own skin." And that's not just passion, that's surrender. And you don't surrender by losing yourself. You surrender by letting someone see you without your armor. And you can do the same by dropping your guard just a little in your relationship, by letting your softness lead sometimes. You don't always have to show your masculine energy all the time. Drop it, especially when you're with a man who understands his masculine place in his relationship. Because real strength isn't always in control. It is in vulnerability. And if you have that kind of vulnerability with a person, please do not lose that person. Because it's hard in this day and time to find someone who is able to be vulnerable with you always. So ladies, when you make space for emotion, for laughter, for quiet, your connection grows wild. When you make that man safe in your presence, just as much as he makes you safe in his presence, because it has to be vis-a-vis, complementary. It is not a one-way street. Love is not a one-way street. So if he makes you comfortable, safe, that whenever you meet him, he's like your safe place, your safe haven. No other person makes you as comfortable as in your real self as he does. That's what you should do for him as well. And that's the only way your connection will blossom and become so wild that no one can replace you. If you want to build a bond that is unshakable, you've got to put in work. And you've got to learn to be present, not distracted, not waiting for him to read your mind. Not you just being there for being their sake. Not you wanting to receive. It has to be reciprocal. Both of you are putting in 100. It's not even 50-50, 100. You're laying all your cards on the table. The way you listen, the way you respond, the way you breathe with him. It's all communication. And that's how love deepens without words. And that's how you form bonds in between the sheets. It's not about sex now. And you can create that kind of emotional magnetism every freaking day. Forget about that thing that people say that, oh, love fades. Love only fades when you do not put in the work. If two people are putting equal amount of work in their relationship, creating a balance, creating that room for their emotions to strive in a healthy environment, there is no way that love will die. There is no way see finish will enter. When I mean see finish, you think you already know him. You become so familiar that nothing intrigues you about him. No. What is your goal when it comes to relationship with this man? Is it a lifetime thing? If it's a lifetime thing, then you know that the same effort that you put into your business, that's the same effort you're going to put into your relationship. It should never die. It should be, every action that you take has to be intentional. Go on intentional dates. Buy gifts for each other intentionally. Do things that will make your relationship blossom. It is hard work. You're looking for true love. True love does not really... How do I put it? True love is not something that just energetically comes and stays forever. It has to be nurtured for it to be true love. Sometimes true love does not necessarily start as something perfect, right? It has its ups and downs. It has its way of trying to figure out who this person is, trying to know who they are, trying to accept what flaws and excesses they have, trying to accommodate, trying to compromise. And at the end of the day, you reach a point where in your relationship, you understand each other and you know what makes that person tick and what makes that person go off the lead. And you're trying your best. It's mutual. You're trying your best way possible to make sure that they are in the most healthiest state of mind whenever they're with you. True love is hard work. If you want true love, you would have to be someone who is a safe place for your partner. You cannot be expecting you cannot be expecting to have true love in your relationship while you leave the work for your man to do, or while your man leaves the work for you to do. Both people have to lay their cards together on the table. Nothing to hide, no secrets, none of that stuff. Check up on your man. Send a message like, just to say, I'm thinking of you. Reach out, not because you have to, but because you want to. And when you're together, really be together. Put your phones away. Look at him. Listen to the sound of his voice. That's how you remind him that he's safe with you. Remember Orpheus and Eurydice, if I'm not wrong with the pronunciation of the name. He loved her so deeply that he went to the underworld to bring her back. But he lost her in a moment he looked back, because love can't survive where trust doesn't live. So babe, when you're with your man, don't look back. Don't second guess his feelings or trust. And don't try to test his love. Let trust be your rhythm. And when you trust, you both move in sync, like two notes of the same melody. And here's something I have learned. Love doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. Love doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need constant excitement or fireworks. Sometimes love is just peace. It's laughter over dinner. It's the way he reaches for your hand when you're quiet. That's intimacy too. It's the way he sits and he looks at you and he knows that something is on your mind without you even saying it. That's intimacy. Now, how do you turn that emotional bond into something that feels almost sacred? It's by being intentional with your energy. Every time that you touch him, let it mean something. Don't just touch him for the sake of touching. Let it mean something. When you hug, stay a little longer. When you speak, choose words that heal your man instead of words that hurt him. And you know what that would do? That would turn ordinary moments into something unforgettable. See, you can make your love story legendary without ever trying to copy anyone else. Just like Cleopatra made, Antony feel like he was the only man alive. You can make your man feel like home by showing up with softness, by laughing when you could argue, by choosing patience when you could snap. That's emotional maturity. And it's unbelievably attractive. And darling, don't forget you in the process. It's so important, because your ability to create deep intimacy starts with how deeply you know yourself. Because when you're connected to your own emotions, when you nurture your own joy, your own energy becomes magnetic. So it starts from you. If you don't know how to love yourself, how would you love another person? You stop chasing love when you know how to love yourself better. Because when that man sees that you're loving yourself, you're teaching him indirectly how to love you. And love will start flowing towards you naturally. Let me tell you this, something really powerful. A woman who is in tune with herself becomes unforgettable, because she's not trying to impress. She's just being. That's what draws a man in. That's what makes him look at you across a crowded room. And he knows, and he says to himself, that's my piece right there. Think about Cleopatra again. She never chased. She invited. She made her presence the kind of calm that commanded attention. You can bring that same energy into your own relationship by knowing who you are before you even walk into the room. Confidence, because confidence that's born from self-love doesn't need noise. It speaks all on its own. And here is where emotional intimacy deepens. Where you start seeing your relationship not as a space to perform, but as a space to connect. When you talk to your man, don't just ask, how was your day? Ask what made him smile. Ask what frustrated him. Ask what he's dreaming about lately. You'll be surprised how those questions open his heart and opens that conversation. Because babe, men crave safety just like we do. Men crave intimacy. They just don't always say it out loud like we do. They're not always expressive. And when you give him that safety, you become unforgettable, darling. Not because you're doing the most, but because you make him feel the most. Now let's talk about passion. Real, soulful passion. Not the kind that burns bright and disappears. That's fickle. It's the kind that grows deeper every single day. You wake up and you look at him sleeping. Your heart just grows in love for him every day. He opens his eyes and he sees you looking at him. That kind of passion is born from understanding one another. It's born from knowing what makes both of you feel alive. And that doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. It's an investment of two people. Look at Frida and Diego again. Two artists whose love was messy, bold, unfiltered. They loved in color. They fought, they forgave. They painted their pain and turned it into beauty. So sometimes in love, not sometimes, most times in love, you will feel pain. But your ability for you to turn that pain into beauty is what a few persons can do. Is what a few persons can be patient and tolerant enough to do. And those two people have come to a point in their relationship where they say, there are no exit doors. Whatever pain that we go through, as long as it is not detrimental to our lives and health, we will walk through it. That's the thing about emotional intimacy. It's not always neat. It's not always rosy. Don't always go into relationship or marriage thinking that it's going to be rosy. No, rose has thorns as well. So as much as you accept the rose, you need to accept the thorns as well. As long as the thorns are not going to kill you. Me saying thorns, I'm not saying abuse, accommodate cheating and all of that stuff. If those are your deal breaker, which apparently are my deal breaker, break off. I'm talking about healthy relationship where two people have misunderstanding, but they find a way around to understand each other. So intimacy is not always neat. Sometimes it is raw. Sometimes it is uncomfortable. But when you both choose to stay, to keep learning, to keep showing up, that's where the real magic lives. So babe, if you're watching this and wondering how to bring that kind of closeness into your own relationship, start small. Start with eye contact. Start with a real I miss you. Start with sharing something you've never told him before. And when he shares his heart, don't rush it. Don't rush to fix it. Just listen. Listening is an act of love too. You don't always have to talk. And you want to know how strong emotional intimacy can be? Look at Romeo and Juliet. Tragic, yes, but symbolic. They loved with purity of intention. They saw each other before the world told them they couldn't. You can take that lesson from that. Not in their ending, but in their beginning. Loving without fear. Speak your truth. Don't let ego or pride silence what you really feel. And sometimes that means being the first to say, I am sorry, because connection doesn't live in pride, it lives in grace. When you choose, peace over ego, what you're doing is that you're deepening the bond. What you're telling your partner is that he matters more to you than you being right. And that right there, that's what makes love last. That's what deepens the connection. Here's something I want every woman to know, right? Emotional intimacy is not something you demand. It is something you nurture. So all of you going out there demanding this, you have to nurture, and you have to be what you're demanding. You build it by being kind, by being patient, by showing up consistently. You build it by celebrating small things, his wins, his efforts, his growth. Men notice that. They remember how you made them feel. Not what you did, not what you said, how you made them feel. And over time, those moments, those tiny, quiet, unrecorded moments become the real love story that you've been looking for and waiting for. Not the big romantic gestures, but the little things, the hand squeeze, the inside jokes, the soft goodnight whispers at 2 a.m., the peck on the forehead. That kind of intimacy stays. And when you're alone, when it's just you, I need you to remember that your energy sets the tone for everything that happens next. When you walk into love with peace in your spirit, what you do is that you're creating a safe space for connection to bloom. And you don't need to force it. You don't need to chase it. You just be. Do you understand? You just be. That's what emotional intimacy really is. A space where both of you can rest. A space that feels like exhale. Because love shouldn't drain you. It should refuel you. So the next time that you find yourself overthinking how to make him love you more, stop. Just breathe. Just show up. Just listen. Just laugh. And be real. You don't have to be like anyone else. Because that's the secret. Love grows where authenticity lives. And if you've watched this so far, babe, take this with you. You don't need to be the loudest woman in the room to be unforgettable. You just need to be real. You just need to be calm. You just need to be the warmth. You just need to be the peace. And best believe me that when you move that way, when your energy speaks louder than words, you won't ever have to ask for love. It will find you and it will stay because it's rare to come by now. So here's to you, babe. To every woman ready to deepen her bond, to make her love story feel like poetry, not performance, because what we have these days is people trying to perform. Here's to the ones who love with intention, who bring the light into the room just by being in it. Love intentionally. And if this spoke to your heart, share with another woman who needs to hear it, because when you learn how to love deeply, you don't have to change your relationship. You don't have to change the energy of the world around you. Because every love story worth remembering isn't about perfection, it's about presence. So take a deep breath, trust your energy, and let love meet you where you are. And if this touches your heart, share it with another woman who needs to be reminded that, she's magical. And until next time, keep shining, keep feeling, keep loving with intentions, okay? Until I come your way, know that I love you and God loves you best.